Welcome to Rauta's Non-Metal Sunday. This time it's time to talk about music, which isn't metal. How surprising! And we go all the way to the world of synthesizer music. Whether we call it outrun, synthwave, retrowave, retro-futuristic synthesizer music or whatever, doesn't really matter. We all know what we're talking about, alright? This time we go to Canada. And this is actually a very, very old release in terms of this genre anyway. It's originally 2012 release as far as I could find out, but this was reissued on in 2020 summer on vinyl by Essential Purification Records, and I was originally going to push out this vinyl reissue release review video, but I was told that the print is out of copies, and there will be a new batch of these babies in summer 2021, so hence postpone here. The band in question is Miami Nights 1984, and the album is called Turbulence. So you can pretty see this glossy MN standing for Miami Nights, and this is how the vinyl looks like. Very, very retro futuristic 1940s feeling. Even this kind of loss of colors here. I mean, it's not really worn out. It's just to make you look like that. And inside this vinyl packaging, we will find this really, really 1980s colored vinyl. 180 grams, I believe. This is very, very thick and solid. You can really bang your head to it without damaging the goods. So that's how it looks. But more importantly is, how does it sound? Man, this is truly great stuff. A lot of years people have been talking about Perturbator and Carpenter Brut coming from France, which seems to be the kind of a home of modern synthesizer music, namely synthwave or retrowave. However, there were bands and acts, artists before these modern days French renaissance of synthesizer music. Now we all know that this goes all the way back to decades like 1980s and 1970s when synthesizer music started to kind of bloom. Especially 1980s when these kind of a synthesizer music compilations started to emerge. TV series such as Miami Vice brought all these vivid colors into the world. You had movies like Back to the Future, and all these 1980s aesthetics came to be like, wow, vivid colors, lively people, energetic, even if it was violence like in Miami Vice, one of the better police TV shows ever. I mean, you had these colors, you had sunsets with, real colors like, I mean, that thing was so much more, lively than so many stuff nowadays. I mean, especially when we went to 90s, everything turned kind of a gray and dull in terms of not only music but colors also. And since that, we kind of never recovered. So I think there is a special essence in 1980s, and so many people close to their hearts, even if they really didn't live their childhood during those years. Now, I have born in 1975, so 1980s, especially the mid years, that was my childhood before going into the dull teenage years in 1990s. So especially for me, there is some kind of nostalgia, if anywhere, which kind of pushes all the correct buttons for me. But obviously, this is fake nostalgia when we're talking about music that was done in 2010s or 2020s, because of course this music wasn't there. But this is so nicely done that it kind of recreates the feeling that it's almost I'm taking some substances which are, creating the illusion that I'm right there, having my Ferrari Testarossa and, driving the streets of Miami and all that stuff. So it's kind of creating this version of what it was or how it could have been late 1980s. I mean, there are lots of video games that also do the trick, recreating actually this 1980s feeling, or creating this retro futuristic thing, like how future would have been if it was happening in 1980s. Think about certain kind of movies, think about certain kind of games, and you're right there. Especially games like Far Cry Blood Dragon. We're creating a world with this kind of colors, with this kind of retro futuristic thing, and also had soundtrack which is very much like what is going on here. Now, some of the synthwave albums, some of the tracks are quite dark, even if they're energetic and bumping the beats like you know the idea. It's not really disco music because it's not so danceable, but you haven't kind of have those tunes and beats to create this level of energy and this passion and this intensity which is right there. But some albums also go for the more good mood stuff, you know, what really makes you just run down your windows and drive your car like, yeah, you're checking out people, taking down your shades and you're like, yeah, you look good. My car looks good. I look good. I have the tan. I have the cold beers or ice cream or whatever you have. And you get into that mood. It's like the opposite of this really sinister and dark and even depressive or nihilistic music, which I think also speaks to me a lot. But this is like the opposite. This is how you get to the beach. You get to talk to those ladies, playing beach ball, and, everything ends up nicely, sunsetting with, cold drinks, and everything is just perfect. Now, I know some people are like the opposite of that. They just want to go all the way to gloom, dark, and sinister mindsets and atmosphere, and it's fine if you like that. I mean, if you like to be your night full of that, if you like to be your summer cold, dark, boring, and shit like that, sure. But if you want to get your mind into proper mindset, grab some cold beers, hang out with your friends, and maybe see those hot girls or guys, whatever your thing is, this is the kind of music you want to go with. Now, Miami Nights 1984 is nailing all the right, nails, pushing all the right buttons. It's like right there with the kind of a perfect soundtrack to this kind of a mindset. Now, the A side of this album is a little bit better than the B side. That is not to say the B side is bad, but let's put it this way. If the B side is good, the A side is kind of a perfect, or at least near perfect. It's very energetic, it's very good mood, the tracks are just like, wow. In my opinion, this is kind of a 5 out of 5 level of a release, and it looks nice on vinyl. It sounds nice on vinyl, you get the kind of a warm feeling, and now that you're spinning your A side to B side to back to A side, it gives you this kind of a feeling that you're back in 1980s. Even though I didn't have a vinyl player in 1980s. I mean, my family had, but I didn't have any vinyl recordings to play, not to understand the whole thing over there. So this is kind of a creating, once again, this feeling of nostalgia, taking you back to times when the grass was greener and the lights were brighter. You get the idea from the Pink Floyd song and all. But this is not about, like how things were better. This is taking you a place that is better. So in my opinion, this is a really, really great album and a kind of a perfect for those beach summer days. And I hope you will check it out. In case you are not allergic to synthesizer music, there is no reason to ignore this. There is no reason to skip this one. So give Miami Nights a chance, give Turbulence a chance, and if you like it, go and buy it. Like I said, this should be out again with a fresh print during August 2021. If I'm mistaken, go ahead and shoot me. But at least you get to listen to it here on Bandcamp, and go check out if the physical copy is available. Thanks for checking out the review. Take care and have a pleasant summer.